Hello, Peter the Cat here. Today I want to review Marilyn Manson's Heaven Upside Down. It's got a double upside down cross on it, and I like to wear a upside down cross necklace, and so, I kind of like that. Alright, now I guess I'll start off by talking about my expectations for this album. The trailer came out, and it had Manson tearing up a Bible, and there was a figure that looked like a decapitated Donald Trump, and it came out on election day, so people thought it was something political, but Manson said, it could be anyone that's beheaded, not specifically Donald Trump, and that trailer made me think that this was going to be like a album similar to Hollywood, excoriating American culture and the religious right, and this album does kind of do that, but Manson has said in interviews it's also supposed to be kind of a romance album somehow, but I would have preferred something more along the lines of Hollywood, but this album I think is alright. I mean, not Manson's best, the Triptych albums are still his best, but I still think it's enjoyable, kind of along the same level as Golden Age of Grotesque, kind of a fun album after doing a bunch of serious ones. But anyway, let me talk about the cover. Yeah, I'll start off about that. Nice photo of Manson, but it's just a little sleeve. It's not something elaborate like Antichrist Superstar, which you get all these awesome photos and lyrics and everything. I would have preferred something like this, but oh well. And I guess I'll just go song by song, and then I'll try and give my own interpretation of this album. Manson writes really esoteric lyrics, so if you watch other Manson fans, they'll probably come up with different interpretations of what this album means. Okay, I have all the songs on the list here with lyrics I like, just so I don't forget anything. Right, opening track, Revelation number 12, a reference to the book of Revelation, where the chapter where a red dragon tries to eat baby Jesus. This song, it's a kick-ass opener, and I think basically establishes a world where, the apocalypse is around the corner, or people believe the apocalypse is around the corner, and Manson's basically just establishing this is a world ruled by fear, basically, and, he's the rebel that doesn't believe in any of this apocalyptic stuff. Yeah, I like the line, too stupid to call themselves evil, so they call themselves heroes. Basically, I think Manson's people that don't want to call themselves villains, maybe Pat Robertson, opening diamond mines, and maybe he justifies it in his mind, this is the will of God or something. Yeah, that's the line I like, Next song, Tattooed in Reverse. I don't know what that phrase means, but it sounds weird, whatever. But anyway, it has blasphemous lyrics like, fuck your Bible and your babble, I made this psalm into my dirty bomb. I like that line, I guess make a silly way of describing religious violence or something, and things like, someone else will pay for your sins, I'm not convinced by your costume, this ain't my goddamn cup of tears, your confession means nothing, so fuck your attrition. That line made me think of No Salvation, No Forgiveness from the Reflecting God off Antichrist Superstar. Basically, I think this is just Manson, saying a bunch of blasphemous stuff. He doesn't believe in the religious right or whatever in this world that believes in the end times, I guess. Yeah, it's fun to listen to, and some of the noises, techno-sounding noises, sound similar to what you'd hear off Golden Age of Grotesque. The next song, We Know Where You Fucking Live. This was the first music video that has a bunch of nuns shooting people up, and I guess this is supposed to be Manson's parody of Michael Bay or something. It's a pretty fun song. I kind of like to think of this almost like Manson's war theme. He's coming around saying, I know where you fucking live. I'm like this boogeyman that's going to come out and get you. And although Manson has actually said that the inspiration for this song was the government coming after people's free speech or something. Yeah, but I thought this was, more fun to listen to as Manson's theme, I'm this, I'm this ghoul that's coming around to get you. Yeah. Next song, Say 10. This was the song that played in the Donald Trump trailer video. Also a fun song. I like the wordplay on the line, Coke Cannon Abel. I'm a legend, not a fable. Basically Manson's trying to establish himself as, larger than life. Oh, I'm bigger than Satan and everything. Fun song. Oh, I should also mention there's a music video for this song also, and it guest stars Johnny Depp, and basically Manson and Depp are surrounded by a bunch of sexy women. When Manson just does sexual stuff, it doesn't really interest me. I forget am I watching an actual Marilyn Manson video, or is this just nightmarish porn or something? I don't know. I mean, the only romantic sexual stuff I like to look at is, Yarf magazine. Yeah, I think it's really really nice. Don't judge me, Garfield, just because you like family-friendly stuff more. Oh, jeez. Garfield's a prude. Yeah. So, next song, Kill For Me. When I first heard this song, I thought it sounded kind of similar to the supposed Manson song, Kill, 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 which I saw on this Christian Fundy website. I don't know if Kill, Kill, Kill is a real Manson song or not. I can't find it anywhere, but I just thought it was interesting that, you know, you have a Manson song supposedly called Kill, 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 and then the lyrics to this song are like, would you kill, kill, kill for me? Funny coincidence. This song is really demented, and it also got a music video. Once again, it's just Manson and Johnny Depp surrounded by a bunch of pretty women. Anyway, this is Manson like doing a parody of love songs. You know, he said he hates songs that ask, you know, would you die for me? And so instead he does a song that's saying, you know, would you kill for me? And I guess this is where like the romance stuff on the album is supposed to start, where Manson has this really twisted relationship with someone. Yeah, and there's lines in it like, sideways for attention, long ways for results. Who are you going to cross? And this made me like look at the album cover kind of differently. Like, you know, sideways for attention, long ways for results. You know, maybe this cross is supposed to like be a symbolic wrist slitting, basically. I don't know. Manson likes his symbols. That's just my crazy guess. Yeah, and and I also thought this song had some similarities to some previous Manson songs. The opening sounds similar to from Born Villain, The Gardener, and also a similar opening to Third Day of a 7-Day Binge from Pale Emperor. I'll compare. The next song, Saturnalia, this was the last song Manson wrote for the album, and shortly after he finished it, his father, Hugh Warner, died, sadly, so this was like really emotional for him, and this is like an 8-minute song, but it doesn't feel like 8 minutes. It's pretty good, and Saturnalia is like a pagan festival for agriculture and honors the god Saturn, but Saturn's also a dick, and he once ate his own children, so I guess, you know, Manson's like celebrating both the good part of Saturnalia, but also the dark side of Saturn. Yeah, and there's some lyrics I like. You know, he references, you know, the child eating thing. I was invited to eat the young. I guess symbolically describing, I don't know, he's seen as a corrupter of children or something. But there's also this line, I see the tear in your teardrop. Take your belief, make it snow, let it go. Wait together until we thaw. That was a weird line because it sounded to me like Manson was like referencing the movie Frozen. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but I guess my interpretation is that like of the romance is that a woman falls in love with Manson's celebrity, but then finds out he's an asshole, and maybe he's identifying with the movie Frozen because that movie has, spoilers, Anna accidentally falling in love with a villain. So that's what I think. Yeah, it goes on for 8 minutes, but it's really enjoyable. Manson clearly put in a lot of effort into this song since it was the last song he recorded for the album. Yeah, so I really like this one, and. But the next song, Jesus Crisis, with the dollar signs in the for each of the S's, this is actually my favorite song, where it's just Manson just going on about, you know, how he loves being a provocateur and basically just being a shock rocker. You know, I write songs to fight and to fuck. You know, I like to think about Manson like going on to the Phil Donahue show or Bill O'Reilly and just confronting people that get offended by him. And there's lines like, sucking up snow white powder, snow white powder, high as a tower. When I heard that, I was thinking like maybe there might be some listeners that accidentally hear that as white power and, you know, think Manson is saying something racist, which it wouldn't be the first time Manson's been accused of racism. Like Great Big White World on Mechanical Animals, that was thought to be a racist song until Manson clarified that the whiteness was actually cocaine. And so yeah, Manson's singing about drugs here. Yeah, kind of a silly lyric. Yeah, basically just a fun song. Manson says that Saturnalia is supposed to be a nice, calm, romantic song, and this song is like an action scene that happens right afterwards. So, yeah, I like the transition from, you know, nice and calm to something really tense. And then the next song, Blood Honey. Okay, this song I didn't really care about. You know, after how fun Jesus Crisis was, I didn't really like having this really slow song after it. But Manson does still say some interesting things in the song, and I'm guessing Blood Honey, Manson like, I don't know, sees blood as honey or something, like it's something sweet for him. You know, lines like, I got you tied up, I love it, tied up, I love it. And you say you want me when I'm upside down. Basically, I'm I'm guessing like maybe Manson and his purported lover are like, I don't know, arguing or something. She likes him when he's vulnerable, but Manson likes to be domineering and acting like an asshole. I guess that's my interpretation. Maybe it's some truth in fiction since Manson has had some kind of rough relationships in the past. Yeah. And, oh yeah, he also says my nose is like a beehive, and he actually mentions bees in the next song, so I'm like wondering, are bees supposed to be some sort of important symbol or something? And then we get to the title track, Heaven Upside Down. It's enjoyable, although the chorus, you're not a ghost, when Manson says that line over and over, and it kind of gets a bit irritating. I mean, I think if you like look up the lyrics, he only says it like 12 times, but it feels like he says it twice as many times. But anyway, we have lines like, I don't attract what I want, I attract what I am, and I like that. It kind of reminded me of I don't like the drugs, but the drugs like me. And then the you're not a ghost line sounded similar to me, another Mechanical Animals line from the title track off that album. This isn't me, I'm not mechanical. You're not a ghost, I'm not mechanical. Yeah. I don't know if these are like intentional callbacks to his other albums, but yeah, it's something I make these kinds of connections. And then the last song, Threats of Romance. So Manson has described Revelation 12 as the beginning, Saturnalia as the middle, Heaven Upside Down as the ending, and this song, he says, is kind of like the end credits theme that basically summarizes what the album is about and what just happened. And there are some very cynical lyrics here. A man is a girl is a man's sickness. We all know the way it ends. What, did Manson go MGTOW all of a sudden? Yeah. No matter how many times we film it, the audience thinks they've seen it for the first time. And, I've mentioned that Manson makes references to his previous albums, so I guess maybe what Manson is saying here is that this album he's put out, it's not original, it's cliche, but I'm going to give it out anyway, and people will eat it up anyway. So basically Manson just making fun of popular culture and how movies are just recyclable stuff, the old plots and everything. And then he has lines like, and things that are pretty, we can't always be kept behind glass. Someone like me can't make it last. I like you damaged, but I need something left, something for me to wreck. Manson said in interviews, like promoting this album, that he's not here to solve the world's problems. He's like a tornado. He's here to cause chaos, and I guess that's basically what he's saying here. I just want to destroy stuff. All right. Yeah. It's an enjoyable song. It's funny, kind of like Jesus Crisis. But I'm going to try and give my interpretation now. This is just totally my interpretation. I'm sure other Manson fans will have, they might come up with different ideas about what this album is about. The first half of the album, I think, establishes, a world where people think the apocalypse is happening and they're controlled by fearful religion or something. And Manson rises up as this rebel. And he's like, I don't believe in any of this. You say God, I say 10, and he pisses people off. And then the second half of the album, that's where I think the romance begins with someone and maybe a fan or something. And then, Manson has this twisted romance, oh, would you kill for me? And, impresses her by trying to be this, total badass. And then you get Saturnalia, where I guess, this is where Manson's like, oh, our love is like Saturnalia or something. And then you have Jesus Crisis, the action scene where Manson's just, fighting and everything. And then you have, the closing songs, Blood Honey and Heaven Upside Down, where I guess they break up because his lover realizes, oh, you're kind of an asshole, I don't like you. And then you have the song Threats of Romance, where Manson says, oh, this is a story you've heard a million times already, like Harley Quinn falling in love with the Joker, or Anna falling in love with Hans, a woman falls in love with a jerk and then realizes he's too jerkish and goes away. Yeah, that's what what I think is maybe the theme here is, Manson gets so caught up in his persona of being, bigger than Satan and being a total badass that he forgets to be a person, and it costs him a relationship, basically. And that's what I'm guessing the album is about. I'm sure other Manson fans, like, the people at the cabaret, or however it's pronounced, they'd probably come up with a totally different interpretation than me. They're way more knowledgeable about literature and the Bible and the occult, that, things that Manson likes to reference, so they'd probably be way more knowledgeable than me. But that's what I think the album is about, and it's a theme that Manson explores a lot. Like on his Triptych albums, Hollywood is about, being a rebel in the world, and then Mechanical Animals is being turned into a product, rebellion is now trendy, and then Antichrist Superstar, Manson says, is like the being faced with the whether you just stay with how you are or do you destroy who you are and become something different. Like this is that's a theme I like in Manson's albums. Basically, personal transformation, and do you stay true to your own values? So if I were to rate this album, I'd rate it maybe 7 to 8 stars out of 10. Yeah, it's a good album. Not as good as the classic Manson albums, but I still think worth listening to. I mean, yes, Manson has some touchy-feely stuff, but he kind of did the touchy-feely Manson stuff better on Mechanical Animals. And, Rebellion Against Religion and American Culture, he did that better on Antichrist Superstar and Hollywood. So, yeah, this may not be as good as those albums, but I still think it's enjoyable. And, Garfield listened to the album too, and this is his own review. He said it was too noisy, he couldn't nap through it, it was too profane, but it irritated John a lot, so that made him happy. So he ranks it 4.5 out of 5 Angry John faces. So I think that's everything I wanted to say. I hope you all enjoyed this review, and I hope my attempt at trying to interpret Manson didn't sound too insane. So that's all. Peter the Cat here. Bye, everybody, and sooner or later, I'm going to review these, do these last couple Garfield movies I haven't gotten to yet. Yeah. After all, it greatly displeases Garfield when I don't make videos about him. Don't worry, Master. I'll do more videos about you soon.